you cannot look at these things purely from tech perspective, because I can give you numerous examples throughout history that best technology do not win in the end. And in the end, what gets adopted is what gets adopted, period. It's whoever gets the traction wins. It's not whoever has the superior technology wins.
Hi everyone, in this video we have a very special treat and guest for you. We have, in my opinion, one of the most informative, insightful crypto/macroeconomists that we have right now. We have Tascha, founder of Tascha Labs, joining us in the show. Tascha, it's an honor to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Given your background into tech, into macroeconomist, what led you into believing that cryptocurrencies are the future? What was your light bulb moment? What was the switch that told you that this is something that I should devote a lot of time and attention to?
First of all, I don't like to call them cryptocurrencies because I don't think most of them are currencies, but stable coins aside, but I would say like crypto assets. But mostly, I first got acquainted with this sector in 2016, 2017. I was very active in a startup circle, and I have friends who were, coming up with business ideas and pitching these ideas to VCs about, blockchain applications to these different industries like logistics, transportation, so on and so forth. At the time, I wasn't very impressed because it just felt like a solution looking for a problem, which looking back, it was indeed the case. If you think about the 2016, 2017 kind of crypto cycle, right? It was very fervent speculations, but not that much use cases. But really the situation started to change before this cycle because a lot of the nowadays famous DeFi applications, like for example, Aave and Uniswap, it really started at the tail end of the last crypto bull market. And then it came to fruition in this cycle, and the so-called in 2020 we had a so-called DeFi summer, where the decentralized finance sector started taking off. In early 2020, I started to pay more attention to the crypto sector because it's when I started using DeFi. When I tried DeFi, it was like, wow, finance could be so simple. It was mind-boggling at the time when I started, seriously looking into the sector, and I realized it was really so much bigger a economic and social revolution than people usually made it out to be.
Majority of the people who enter this entire space first enter Bitcoin first. While you were talking, you quickly mentioned smart contracts and the apps on top of it. Does it mean that you completely skipped Bitcoin and went into the other dApps and chains altogether?
No, I mean, obviously, like everybody else, that Bitcoin was the, gateway drug, for most people into crypto, and the same for me. And at the time, I read the Satoshi white paper, and I read a couple other people's work talking about the use cases of Bitcoin. To me, it seems like it has some good argument in terms of the why I can see like why Bitcoin would take off on one hand. On the other hand, I definitely do not buy the argument that it is the sound money. As an investor, to me, I want to focus on things that are productive assets, meaning things that technology that will contribute to making the economy work better, produce new value added, rather than something that is a Go 2.0 that is, sitting in a digital wallet and just look pretty.
You see Bitcoin as a gateway drug. It allows you to explore other things that when you see apps that could be built on top of these blockchains, then it becomes more interesting. And I want to dwell on this because you created several articles that were so amazing about how people could actually value blockchains, L1 blockchains, smart contract blockchains, however you want to call it. But what's confusing people right now is that the narratives keep on changing. The people watching this, how would you narrate it to them that, okay, these are the ones that are available. This is how I could filter it out that over the next 10 years, this will be the ones that will be relevant to where, as compared to where we are right now?
So this is a very interesting question. I think, a lot of people are struggling with, including I myself, because the sector is indeed moving very fast. And I cannot tell you about the next 10 years, unfortunately. Unlike a lot of people, they are very confident telling you, Bitcoin going to $2 million in the next 10 years. The sector is moving so fast. And that's one part of the reasons why this narrative is changing so fast, right? Because people are trying to figure out, okay, now, first of all, there are a lot of creativity. There is a lot of building going on in so many projects, right? People are trying to figure out, okay, which is going to be the next fan and which is going to be the next MySpace, right? It's really a little bit hard to tell right now, regardless of what people say. And a lot of times people center these arguments around technology. A XYZ chain has, better decentralization, or it's faster, it's made to scale, it's blah, 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 blah. And they throw at you these technical arguments. But really, to me as an investor, number one, you cannot look at these things purely from tech perspective, because I can give you numerous examples throughout history that best technology do not win in the end. And in the end, what gets adopted is what gets adopted, period. It's whoever gets the traction wins. It's not whoever has the superior technology wins. Last year, practically nobody was talking about these alternative layer ones. Now it became almost like big asset class that seems like that's something that you should look into as soon as you invest in the crypto space. So really the technology itself is moving very fast, and you have you already see there are newer generations of distributed ledger technologies and the blockchain coming up already. So I really don't know how you can really know from the next 10 years, who's going to be the winner by the end of this decade. So, but I think from individual investors' point of view, if you're a retail investor, this is unfortunately bad news for some people, because some people, they just don't want to do the work. They just want to be told which coin to buy, right? But really, what I think is the retail investor, your competitive advantage is really to do your research and find out what the next growth growth field is going to be in the space. And you bet on it with good risk control. You don't, throw your house money, into it. Obviously, it's high risk. But you bet on something that is through your own research, use your brain. You figure out, you think this something could be of potential high growth point going forward. I'm not sure that anything we talk about, the hot coins today will be still around in 10 years, but they will have their day. Okay. So that is the competitive advantage of the retail investor, is you get in before the larger funds, before the more traditional, older, more established institutional investors get into this particular project, because they cannot really get into small projects because their bid size is, institutional players. Their bid size may be too big for a token, for a project that's maybe 100 million in market cap right now. It's just too small. They cannot play that. So I think that you will see that will be the competitive advantage of retail investors, is to actually do your research, actually read the project white paper, talk to the team member, and go check out YouTube, check out podcasts, check out read blogs, and come up with your own thesis. So unfortunately, this takes work. So if you don't want to do that, usually people just tell you, if you don't want to do anything, then you just go buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I wouldn't tell people to just go buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we talk about the generation 1 is Bitcoin, and then we have generation 2 is Ethereum, and then we have the bigger ones that came up, grew really fast, which are Solana and Avalanche and Terra Luna. And then this is what I call the tier 1 alternative layer 1, because they've got a lot of traction through the last year and actually grew very, very quickly. So they are maybe in the top 10 to 15 in market cap, right? So that will be the Solana, Avalanche, Luna, and maybe Polygon. And then you have I would call the tier 2, new generation of layer 1 blockchains, which are, Near, Cosmos, Algorand, Harmony, FTM, what is that? Algorand. My God, there's so many of them. But you see, I think in the past month, you're already seeing the area of the growth. The area of growth started shifting in the space. That the tier 1 alternative layer 1 chains, the meme, which is like Solana Vax, Solana, Luna, Vax, Avalanche, right? Avex. So those grew a lot last year. If you bought those at the beginning of 2021, you did good. You did really good, right? And so, but you started seeing the growth already started shifting from those layer 1, from those tier 1 to tier 2 right now. Over the last month, the Solana Vax didn't do a whole lot. Maybe Luna, did some. But number 1, as an investor, right, I care about my asset return, right? Who wins, who has bigger market share at the end of the day, eventually just a factor to account for in your calculations in terms of who will give you the better asset return, or better reward, like a risk-adjusted reward.